but that's not a listing appointment. Listing appointment is when I'm going to get the listing. So, on that, if I'm going to see that guy and look at his house and tell him what things he needs to do, then he's not thinking I'm going to list the house, and I'm not thinking I'm going to list the house. But when the time is right, then I will be.
So you're asking questions to be clear if now's the time, and then once you figure that out and you're clear on that, then you're asking additional questions to make sure they're clear about that. That's what your intentions are. And if now's not the time, then you may go for another reason to look at it.
I've never been on an appointment where they said, "Oh, we weren't planning to sell our house," or that. I've never had that happen, so I don't know. I'm trying to imagine how it could happen. I don't know how it could happen, where someone didn't know you were going there to list the house.
Well, if someone says, "Well, come on over and let us know what it's worth. We're thinking about selling," and you go, "Okay, I'll be there at 5." And you go over.
Okay, well, I would never do that. So
There's your answer.
Ask the question, what would happen if your home did not sell? Again, it lets you know what their situation is. Lisa said, well, gosh, if it didn't sell, my husband would have to go and I'd have to wait till the house sells. So. When I see how much do you want to list your home for, talked to a guy this morning, asked that question. He said, well, Zillow says, it's worth, we paid 1.3, in 06. Zillow says it's worth 850, but we really don't know, and that's why we were talking to you. And I say, great. Well, as a professional, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume you want to list with me at the price that causes your home to sell, correct? He said, well, yeah, we don't want it to sell on the market. And I said, exactly. We'll have a tough time getting a good price if that happens. He goes, yeah. So I know, his expectation is whatever it is. When I look at the house, I'll know what's going to sell for. But he's already in agreement that we need to price it at the right price and put it at the price that will cause it to sell versus sit on the market.
Should have another question in there, Chris. Does your wife agree with that too?
We'll work that out. How much you owe on the property. Obviously important in this market to know if it's a short sale or not. Have you ever thought about selling it yourself? Yeah, we thought about it, but we really don't have the time. No, it's not what we're gonna do. Actually, yeah, we might have to do that. Oh, why is that? Well, because of what we owe and the values. All right, we'll determine that when we meet.
Chris, can I ask, one of the things I've had an issue with lately is I've had a couple of sellers tell me, I ask them that question, they say, oh, we owe X amount of dollars in the house, but then I find out that they're late, or that there's another lien that I didn't know about on the property. When we get an offer, I don't know, I didn't pull a PR, I'm looking at the realist tax stuff, but they didn't tell me that.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you ask that question, they'll always, I don't know why people think this way, but more times than not, they'll tell you what their first is, and they'll go, oh, we owe $350. Okay, great. And is that the total amount? Or I'll usually say, no, I always say, is that in the form of 1 or 2 loans? Because they want to know. They go, oh no, that's the first. We also have an equity line of 150. Oh, okay, so you really owe 500 then. So you ask them what they owe, and they, in their minds, they've justified it that, that second was, something else.
But it's like I'm asking questions, but apparently I'm not asking, I guess, penetrating questions to get that information because they don't tell me. And then finally we get an offer and they say, oh, we can't sell for that. We owe this and that, or
Yeah. So you want to ask a real clear question: are there any other loans on the property? Are you current? How about your property taxes?
What would you do if this is off track and just something like along this line, like a qualified situation went out and actually a past client of mine that I've done multiple deals with, selling his father, he's in trust and handles the trust for. Went out, priced the home, and did everything I needed to do along those lines. Yet, when it went to the closing estimate, and I just wanted to confirm the loan, he was under the impression there was no loan, but it showed 380 grand, and so it was a significant chunk of the. To make a long story short, he was going to go investigate and get back to me, and how we wanted to proceed. I never expected that, you know, his father, who's in his late 80s, wants to get a second opinion on the value of the home. You know, I looked clearly, so I'm trying to be and stand behind my price. It's not in my area, and if I'm going to, you know, it's costing money or making money. So how do I respond? I simply just said, look, I want to work together as we have in the past. You do understand if we overprice the home, it's detrimental to what we ultimately can get for it. But, I mean, at this point, I'm just standing back and waiting for him to get a second opinion.
Well, so are you, just so I understand, you're saying that they want a second opinion because now they know that there's a loan on the property they didn't know before, and it's going to
I'm
affect
thinking that maybe he, you know, because the homes had sold for more, the guy's maybe delusional on the way the market is, maybe because I'm coming from here, he's not understanding that I am a specialist in pricing homes, and because there was actually another decision maker.
So you're, all right, so regardless of what the situation is, there could be 100 situations that they're doing that. You have to get in front of them again. You got to get another appointment, or nothing's going to happen.
Right.
So, sitting back and waiting isn't going to do it. Calling them or anything else, you have to get in front of them because you can't get them to sign a listing agreement unless you're in front of them. So, you know, what you need to do is say, gosh, you know what? Here, let's do this. Why don't we set another time to meet, or let's set another appointment. I'll bring with me all the documentation you need to see so you can feel comfortable and confident that we're at the right price. You know, and then you have a chance to get it.
Just bring him back on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying hard not to say, okay, well, let's just list it for what you want as long as we break in, you know, put in, you know, a 30-day price or you know, I'm trying not to lose, but I'm also saying it's not in my area, and I price it the way I know it's going to, and the only way, you know, I can move the house. So I'm happy with that, but I haven't.
But you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish without being in the same room.
Understand.
So don't try to make that happen or avoid that happening or anything else. Get in front of them, and then you have all the control in the world. Over the phone, you get no control, and then you'll put yourself in a situation where you're gonna have to tell them what you think they want to hear just to get them to say, okay, we'll do it. And then you end up with a listing you didn't want or the price that it shouldn't be at.
Thanks.
Sometimes if we don't know anything about the home, now it's so much easier to know about the properties because they've been listed before. You can see photos online or aerial views or bird's eye views. So, but the question we used to always ask is, will you describe your home for me? So we knew what it was like. One of the questions I always ask is there anything you need to do to it before we have people looking at it? Because they'll start telling you a lot of stuff with that question. And then I let them know, hey, we're going to be sending over a package of information. Will you take a moment to review that before we meet? Let them know it's coming. Ask them the question, will they review it? Yeah, we'll review it. And then when you call to confirm, you can say again, hey, besides, calling to confirm our appointment tomorrow at 4, did you get the information we sent you? Great. Did you have a chance to review it? No, we didn't. Will you be able to do that tonight before we meet tomorrow? Yes, I'll make sure I do tomorrow. Great. Because you want them to look at that stuff, right? Otherwise, there's no sense sending it.
Chris, if they want to meet you same day, they say, well, can you swing over at 5? Do you postpone it out a day so you can give them the opportunity to look at the information?
It depends. It depends on my schedule. Depends on their motivation. If they're, if I know they're red hot and ready to go, no, I'm not going to postpone it.
You send out the listing, the pre-list packet after you give them, qualify them over the phone?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, because that's when you set the appointment after you pre-qualify them. That's when you set the day and the time.
Is your focus on sheer numbers, man, like just turning them over, units? And that's why you just mass prospect, qualify, go over? I mean, are you just looking at houses is that why you get to 150, 200? It's just like a machine operating? Is that the mindset?
No, the mindset, well, I'm real clear. People hire me to sell their homes, turn them over. So that's the goal. The mindset is I have a goal in mind, and then I figure out what I need to do to achieve that goal. And then, every day the amount of prospecting and everything else is consistent with achieving that goal. But, my definition of great service is getting the job done they hired me to do, which is getting their household and doing it as quickly as possible with the least amount of